Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, Senate Commerce Committee investigating Dickson lawsuit. ICAS endorses Bob Hoover Commemorative Postal Honor. And electric Ampaire makes first public demo flight. Happy Friday and welcome to the show. I'm Sophie Herlock. Getting a new FAA Administrator may not be as immediate as it once sounded. The Senate Commerce Committee is looking into allegations in a lawsuit that Stephen Dickson, President Trump's nomination for FAA Administrator, retaliated against a pilot who voiced safety concerns with him back in 2016. In this case, the pilot, Karlene Petitt, met with Dickson about unspecified FAA violations by the airline. Dickson was a senior vice president in charge of flight operations at Delta at the time. Dickson did not disclose the lawsuit on the nomination questionnaire he submitted to the Senate Commerce Committee. Petitt was reportedly referred to a psychiatrist for an evaluation following the meeting and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She was grounded for more than a year. 2 later examinations cleared her of the disorder, and she is again flying for Delta. Dickson said in a deposition that he had final authority on the decision to refer Petitt for evaluation, calling it a sound course of action, but Petitt's attorney, Lee Seaham, said that Dickson signed off on what was essentially a retaliation against Petitt. Info from the Hill suggests the Dickson nomination is becoming less likely to be approved as the matter gets more examination. We'll be right back with Around the Patch.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Today is a new dawn.
With a new name.
Un nuevo logotipo.
A new factory.
Und einen globalen Kundenfokus.
We are Continental Aerospace Technologies, and we stand behind you.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at some interesting stories coming out of the aviation industry. It's time for today's trip around the patch. On May 28, 2019, Robert F. Curl, Port Orange, Florida, was charged via information in U.S. District Court, Orlando, Florida, for falsely certifying thousands of pilot medical examinations. The information was filed subsequent to a signed plea argument in which Curl admitted to the violations. The investigation revealed that Curl performed approximately 3,814 airman medical examinations, earning an estimated of $523,740 in fees. He admitted that approximately 75% of his examinations were fraudulent. WACO Aircraft Company is planning a major expansion of its facilities at WK Kellogg Airport. The 80,000 square foot, $18 million expansion is expected to be completed in the first half of 2020, according to company officials. WACO was acquired last November by Demore Group Incorporated of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Demore is a subsidiary of Demore Aero of Cologne, Germany. Michael Morrissey, president of People Express Airline, has been arrested and charged with wire fraud, engaging in monetary transactions, and property derived from unlawful activity, making and subscribing a false tax return, and failure to file tax returns. Kenneth Spirito, former executive director of Peninsula Airport Commission, was also arrested and charged with violations of conversions and misapplication of property from an organization receiving federal funds and engaging in monetary transactions with property derived from unlawful activity and falsifying records in a federal investigation. Bell Helicopter has been awarded Type Certificate for Performance Information Expansions at up to 22,500 feet density altitude. This spring, the Bell 505 showcased several performance capabilities during a successful high-altitude flight test demonstration in Nepal. Testing efforts included numerous takeoffs and landings at density altitudes between 18,000 and 18,500 feet, as well as the evaluation of landings with the loss of control system hydraulic boost. We'll be right back with the rest of the news.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight four-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
An effort announced by the Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation to petition the US Postal Service in honoring the late Robert A. Bob Hoover with a commemorative postage stamp is gaining momentum. The International Council of Air Shows has already stepped up to voice its support for the effort. Bob Hoover was arguably the best pilot who ever lived. He was an American patriot and national legend who preached the gospel of aviation for nearly 3/4 of a century. And here at the International Council of Air Shows, we were fortunate to know Bob as an airshow colleague, consummate professional, and inspiration to millions. While much of the world learned about Bob as one of the best test pilots in aviation history, and even more so as a hero of World War II, the airshow community saw him as one of aviation's best ambassadors to the rest of the world. Of all the men and women ICAS has had the privilege to work with in its history, Bob Hoover stands out as being an exceptional choice for US Postal Service recognition, both for the amazing history he represents as well as providing an inspirational example for future aviation professionals. On behalf of the men and women of the airshow community, it is our pleasure to endorse and support the efforts of the Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation to issue a commemorative stamp in honor of the 100th birthday of Bob Hoover in January of 2022, noted John Cudahy, the president and CEO of ICAS. Ampaire publicly demonstrated the Ampaire 337, allegedly the highest capacity hybrid electric aircraft ever flown. On Thursday, June 6, Ampaire engineers, investors, and journalists witnessed the hybrid electric Ampaire 337 fly in the skies above Camarillo Airport. The aircraft, based on the 6-seat Cessna 337 Skymaster, was retrofitted with Ampaire's proprietary electric propulsion system and is powered by a lightweight battery system. The battery-powered electric motor replaces a combustion engine of the aircraft's original 2-engine configuration, and the resulting system is a parallel hybrid, meaning the internal combustion engine and electric motor work in concert to optimize power output as the plane flies. In hybrid configuration, the aircraft sees significant greenhouse gas emissions savings and operating cost reductions. The experimental plane was flown by test pilot and flight engineer. In late 2019, Ampaire will begin a pilot project on a commercial route on the Hawaiian island of Maui. The aircraft will be a newly retrofitted Cessna built with learnings from the test flight program that informed the configuration of the battery and motor. This aircraft will be a pre-production prototype and will move Ampaire closer to commercial readiness. That wraps up our week, everyone. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, tweet, and like us. And if you want to read up on some aviation aerospace news this weekend, head over to aero-news.net. I'll see you Monday.